Hey guys, my fellow artists. Today I want to talk to you a little bit briefly, a little bit quickly. This is a very, very important tip that I want to share with all you fellow artists, especially if you want to, if you haven't already, get started selling your art, or if you do already sell your art, a way to actually help you sell a little bit more. So it's such a simple concept, you guys, but ever since I started thinking this way, doing things this way, I have seen so many more art sales, especially in my Etsy shop, and more interest in not just my artwork, but also my writing, my books. So this is such a simple concept that if you just have things that you want to sell, I'm aiming this more towards artists, but of course you can do this with any type of products. So the number one, golden rule of all, and what this whole video is going to be about, is this one simple concept. And that is the concept that everything you do should be about your end customer, your end buyer, the person who's going to receive your artwork. Like I said, I'm aiming this towards artists, but if you sell other products, you can do this as well. And like I said, as an artist myself, as I started implementing this concept and started really thinking about my buyers, everything changed. Like, you guys, it'll open, I'm not kidding you, it's such a simple thing, but it's going to open up so many doors for you. It's going to, whether you think it will or not, it's going to lead to so many more sales for you. So in this video, I want to go over at least 3 main focal tips. And then after that, I'm going to share a couple of bonus tips as well. And I can show you some examples along the way as we go along, so you don't just, have to sit here and stare at my face the entire time. Although I'm in my backyard this afternoon. It's very nice. It's actually getting a little bit hot, but first tip, absolute number one that I recommend everybody, all artists, all sellers, all makers of the world, if you want to sell your artwork or other things that you create, is switch your focus from you to the customer. And like I said, that's what this whole video, that's what this whole shindig is about. But it's just so important, which is why I want to make it tip number one. Switch your focus from you, the person creating, to the person who's going to receive, to the person who's going to buy, to the person who's going to buy and then gift your artwork or your item to somebody else. Now, of course, just because that's tip number one, it's okay, that's one thing, that's a mindset thing, right? That's in your own mind. You just kind of have to just start shifting your whole inner mindset, your whole inner dialogue with yourself to accomplish that tip. There's really nothing you can physically do to, change how you think and how you feel about the world. Although one thing you can do, and I have this up now, I will link it in a card and in the description below. I do have a free business plan template for artists, and if you have not already checked it out, I really highly recommend you do, because in that business plan, you're going to be able to follow along and start rewriting, start reworking maybe your own mindset as you fill things out. It's a little booklet to help you guys start to build, if you haven't already started selling artwork, start to build the foundation of what's going to be your shop. Whether you sell things in person, online, or a mix of both, it doesn't matter. It's really good to have a business plan. And as you fill out that business plan, it's going to help you start to get this mindset of, okay, it's not all about me, right? It's not all about what we want or what we want to do as creators. It's mainly actually about the people who are going to consume your products. Because these are your customers, your patrons, and that is what's going to, ultimately, they're the ones that are going to pay you for your hard work. And so what they think and what they do and believe really does matter. So it does help to think about who is our end goal, the end person who's going to receive this artwork. What are they like? Now here's a little bit more of a tangible tip to help you go about doing that. So tip number 2, start physically saying you instead of I. Just like I'm here in this video here today, I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking with and to you. I'm not so much talking about I. I might say some things as examples. I might say, well, I've done this in the past and it really helped me, so I think it might help you too. So you don't want to completely eliminate yourself out of the equation, because you are a person too and you do matter, right? But just start saying you a little bit more. Start speaking directly to your customers. Say you instead of just saying I, me, myself, I, right? So one way you can actually go about implementing this tip, and I think the best way, is rewrite how you write your product descriptions, right? If you sell things online, especially. Instead of writing your product descriptions like, I made this because I wanted to do this and I did this, Instead of focusing on yourself and the product description, start focusing on your customer and start saying you to your customer. Like physically say the word you in your product description, or saying to the consumer, to the customer, pieces of information about the product itself, not necessarily about how I went about creating it, but just how, kind of in third person, if you will, how the product itself was created. And again, speaking directly to the customer, to the consumer, you can say you. If you're not completely comfortable with saying you so often, so much, you can also say art lovers will love this piece because, book lovers will love this item because, right? And again, that goes back to thinking about who is your customer? Who are they? Are they a book lover? Are they someone who is like an art connoisseur? What are their interests? What are their likes? And really feed off of that when you're writing a product description for something. Now, kind of along with that, my third tip is to put yourself in your customer's shoes. We all know that saying, put yourself in someone else's shoes. But when, especially like if you are having trouble writing like product descriptions, I know I'm a writer, so I do it all the time, but I know for other people, it can really be a struggle. But one way that will really help you to write a good product description is put yourself in your customer's shoes. Try to imagine if you were somebody that was interested in buying this item, or you weren't sure, should you go through with buying this item or not? For example, if the item is like a painting or something, you might say, well, how big is this item? Is it going to fit in this space? Like maybe you're thinking as a customer, you might have a certain space you want the painting to fit in. Is it going to fit in that space? Is it framed? Is it unframed? If it's unframed, am I able to go out and frame it? These are things we might not necessarily think about, as the artist or as the person who made it. We just say, here's the product and I made it and this is what it is, right? But there are certain questions that your customers, your consumers might have about these different pieces of art or different products that you're making. Now, those are the main three tips. Those are the main three tips that I really want you to kind of get a grasp on. Again, this is all to help you guys, to help you start to, make this mind shift change and start to really, focus on the end customer, because that is really, you guys, it's going to change your sales. And if you're selling things, it's going to change everything for you, I promise. Now, here are some additional bonus tips, if you will, that these are of course optional, just extra little added bonus tips that I want to share with you also, that just go along with this whole main idea of putting yourself kind of at the back and putting your customer at the front of, your decisions when you're making a product, trying to advertise a product, trying to sell a product, all those things. So my first little bonus tip is start thinking about making products. This is if you are open to making new products, make items that are useful, that are going to be used frequently by the consumer. This is something that I've been thinking about and working with for a really long time, because it's really hard. And I'm sure you probably realize this too if you try to sell your own artwork. If you're selling say paintings or sculptures or something that is just a visual piece of art, it's just meant to look at. It doesn't really do anything. There's no function to it. There's no functionality. These items are actually really hard to sell to people unless someone is a total art connoisseur, which there are only so many people in the world that just have a lot of money to spend on art piece after art piece. So sometimes you have to get really creative about your products themselves, because items that are actually useful or functional for customers are going to sell. You're going to sell a lot more of them, and they're going to sell a lot more quickly than some of your other art pieces. This is why on my shop, especially on my Etsy shop mainly, I have of course all of my paintings and my general fine art pieces on there. They will always be on there for people to browse. They're always available for people to purchase. However, do I sell one of these paintings, one of these pieces every single day? No, I don't. Just keeping it real with you guys, I do not. And I'm sure most artists in the world do not sell a whole large painting, or any painting really for that matter, every single day. Because again, these items are pretty difficult to sell. They're not functional. They're not what some consumers, unless they are someone who purchases art quite frequently, are not going to buy every day, right? Which is why I have made it my goal recently, my own personal goal, to start coming up with and creating different things that are still my works of art, still items that I create, but they're functional, they're useful for customers. And of course you can see these all on my Etsy shop here. These include things like birdhouses that are handmade, hand-painted items. They're still, to me at least, works of art, but they're very functional if someone is a bird watcher or someone who wants to gift this item to someone who might enjoy bird watching. These are really, really great items for that. And unlike my other fine art pieces, these do sell quite frequently, not quite every single day, but very, very many more days than my art pieces. Other items that I have recently started adding to my shop include bags that I myself hand make. These are bags that I made myself, and then I add my own painted designs on them. So how I do this is I take copies of some of my other original paintings. I take copies of them, I digitize them, and then I put them in a file where I can print them onto these iron-on transfers that go directly onto fabric, onto material. And then I can iron those directly on those bags and such. So again, I'm still selling my artwork. It's just in different ways. You really gotta get creative with it, you guys. Which is why we are artists in the first place, because we're meant to be creative people, right? And along with that, another added bonus tip is that start to really, really think about your skills, what you can do to make new products. Again, we gotta get really creative with it. Like with my birdhouses, my dad is an excellent woodworker. He helped me learn and obtain that skill so that we could create these beautiful birdhouses to put up on the website, on my Etsy shop. And then after I've been doing that for a while, I thought, well, what other skills do I have to offer aside from just painting? Because I do consider myself quite a creative person. I'm sure you all do. We all have other skills that we may not even think of. We may not think that they're very valuable at all, but I thought, I'm really good at sewing. I actually really enjoy sewing. I just never do it because I never have the time to do it. But because I knew it's just a skill that I hadn't used in a long time, because I didn't really think of it as, I don't know, a valuable skill, I thought, well, everybody can sew. It's not just, I'm not special or anything. But a lot of people don't know how to sew. And I think after I talked to a few different people and they were saying how, oh, I wish I could have ever learned how to sew and stuff, and I thought, well, maybe it is a skill that I have that I should and can utilize. So start thinking like that, you guys. Start thinking what other skills, aside from painting or whatever type of art you create, what other type of skills do you have? What other type of hobbies? Our hobbies can really help us obtain different skills. And you have to start thinking that there is value to your hobbies because, let's face it, making art itself, probably for a lot of us started out as a hobby. But if you're someone who wants to or who has already started selling your own artwork, that's a hobby gone to a whole nother level, right? But again, it just started as a hobby. So start thinking of these other things that you might do. Like for example, with me, it was sewing. It was learning how to construct things out of wood from my dad, who I knew had that skill. So start thinking of either the skills that you have or the skills that you want to either learn from someone else or someone you know who can help you obtain those skills. And that is one way that you can really start to use those skills to start designing and creating products that you can sell. My third tip, and again, like I said, all these bonus tips are like little extra little tidbits. You don't have to do all of this. But another tip I have for you is do a bit of research into what items people like to buy, items that people like to have. And then again, you can kind of draw inspiration from that, how you can make either completely new products like what I've done, or you can kind of edit the products that you're already making. Like here's a very, very simple example of this. If you're someone who always makes paintings on canvas, maybe you find that there's like a whole group of people out there that really enjoy having paintings done on wood. So just substituting, a different material in your future paintings, that's a really, really, really simple thing that you can do to, again, start thinking about that end customer and what they might like. Another way you can do this, and I do this a lot, is like when I take my artwork and my other products to craft shows, art shows, vendor fairs, that sort of thing, which, of course, see my art festival vlog if you're interested in doing that as well, to see some behind the scenes and how you can go about doing that. And walk around and just kind of see the other booths, see what other people are creating. Of course, we don't want to copy anybody, right? We never want to do that. But just see what types of products people are selling and what types of products specifically people are really, really buying. Look around and see if there's if you can see a sale happening in action at somebody's booth or some, shop or location. See what items the customers are actually purchasing. Walk around and see what are people pointing at and looking at the most. And really do your research. That's the best way, I think, to do your research and start learning what customers are really interested in, whether it's a trend or just a type of product in general that you never thought of making before, but you go, hey, I could do something like that. I could do something similar to that. My fourth bonus tip is to make things really, really personal, I don't know, same word, right? For your customers. And there's a couple of different ways. I'll give you a couple of different ideas of ways you can do this, but of course, feel free to come up with your own. One way that I know a lot of Etsy sellers do this, I don't personally do this, but I think it's a great idea, is to write personal thank you notes that with every order you ship out, you can hand write them, or you could type them and print them, but add the person's name of the person that this item is being shipped to, add their first name to the top so that it feels really, really personal. It's like a very personal touch for them. And again, I don't personally do this just because I know a lot of my items that people buy, they are intending to re-gift them to other people to give them as gifts. So for me, it doesn't really make sense to say, I hope you enjoy this item to the person who this item is getting shipped to, because a lot of times I know that my items do get re-gifted. Not really re-gifted, because, re-gifted is what happens after Christmas. The next year around you re-gift something that is going to be originally gifted to somebody else. Another way you can really make your customers feel special is by sharing. If they leave you a really, really nice review, share it to your social media or share it with other people. But you can say, like, when you repost like a review or an excerpt from the review, you can say, Sheila G said this, or Kathy said this about my shop. Just mention those people by name, and especially if they happen to follow you or, look at your shop more, or just follow you as an artist on social media. If they happen to come across your social media after buying your item and, getting to know you, then I think they will feel really, really special for seeing that beautiful review that they wrote for you be shared. And this all kind of goes along with our next bonus tip, which is make your buying experience for your customers what I like to call a returnable experience. Not returnable in the sense that they're going to want to return your item, but they're going to want to return to your shop, return to you as a seller, and buy more items from you in the future. And again, one way you can do that is by making things really personal for your customers, like I just mentioned. Another way is by giving thank you coupons, which I do this all the time. I absolutely love it because myself, I love a good coupon, hey-o. But giving coupons to your customers, like a thank you that comes with their item after they purchase it. Or even like on Etsy, I believe that there is like a auto option that will automatically send people who buy your items, it will email them a coupon for future purchases. And again, this is just it's a great incentive to get people to come back to you again and again. And of course, even if people have not, already bought in from you before, you can offer like first time coupons as well, or just regular coupons to anybody. Maybe you share a specific coupon on social media so that people who just happen to come across your social media will see that coupon and will think, not the whole world is getting to see that coupon, just them, because they are on your social media platform looking at your socials at that time. And then as a customer, that might make them feel a little bit special. Now, my last and final bonus tip for the day is to remember that it's not always about sales. Yeah, I know. This whole video today has been about generating more sales, getting more traction with selling your artwork or other products, right? But at the end of the day, it's not always about making sales, but it is about actually making connections with your customers. So like all the time, especially when I go to, vendor shows, craft fairs, craft bazaars, art shows and festivals, that sort of thing, there are a lot of people that will walk by and will just want to chat with me about like a piece that I have sitting out because it reminded them of something. They could recognize that there was a story behind it, which again, another video that you guys might want to check out is how to tell a story with your art that I posted not that long ago. But a lot of times people will just want to stop and talk to me about a piece of my art, about one of my art pieces, right? And so it's not always about trying to here, maybe you should buy, it's not always about pushing the buying part, but just making connections with your customers, because you never know, you might come across that person again and then they might want to buy from you another time because they remembered such a great experience of chatting with you before. And the same thing can go online, especially like social media. If you're selling online and stuff, make connections with other people on social media. And just remember, it's not always about selling them a product or them, taking the initiative to buy a product from you or to buy an art piece. But it's really about making that connection with them just as another person, because remember, it's about them. It's about the customer. And I think you will find and you will be surprised that those people might just come back and buy from you later. So you guys, that is all of my tips for this hopefully short and quick video today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you really found it useful. Take notes. I know there was a lot of points in this, but just make sure that you know, above all else, right, that the customer comes before you when you're trying to sell items, sell artwork, or just any item in general. So again, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the things if you do enjoy this. You can also check out some of my other videos that I have up about how to sell your artwork, either in person, online, or just in general. And of course, please do download that free business plan template for artists. I think you guys will really get a lot out of that. It's very, very useful for you, right? Very useful for you. So I hope this does help you, and I hope you all make lots of future sales with your artwork. So until next time, later, my fellow artists.